Well, buenos dias, brother, and welcome. Alhamdulillah. Uh, Spenmenn 0. TFW. I don't know what that. Once I am not even an atheist. Awesome. Congratulations. I am not against religion, just organized religion. Well, that's good because I belong to the only unorganized religion. It's called Eastern Orthodoxy. Um, one and only true disorganized religion. No systematic doctrine, dogma, or theology. So I think we're off on a good foot. You can't blame the death under capitalism, ex-hungry people of the world, but you can count famine in Russia towards communism. It's a shame. It's the same kind of careless calculation used by the Black Book of Communism. Capitalist freedom. Ha, nice joke. Whoa, hold on. The only communist book that I ever used was this. And what famine in Russia? The famine was in the Ukraine in 1932, and it was done by Stalin. And this is part of the record. This is written down by the Soviets. This is on record. To one, break the people's belief in God, and two, forward the goals of atheism because it would force them to become atheists, and three, to reduce the population. Form of euthanasia, form of demnicide, of genocide. It's the same kind of careless calculation used in the Black Book of Communism. I have no use for the Black Book of Communism. Do you forget that I'm the same party as the Sandinistas and the FMLN and the Continuity Sinn Féin? I, I, I mean, do you not understand that? That yeah. So the Black Book of Communism, I'm sure, has nothing to say against the School of the Americas, which I have spoken out against. Capitalism is freedom. Ha, nice joke. One, no, I said capitalism is the result of a free market. Not even Marx or Stalin would disagree with that. Freedom to exploit, that is, capitalism is literally theft. Without surplus value, there is no profit. More people were killed by Christians than atheists. Um, Citation needed. 120 million were killed by atheists in the 20th century. By Christians, no. Do you know why they turned to anti-clericalism? Well, anti-clericalism began by the Protestants in the early 1600s, actually in the 1500s, if we want to be exact, because the church was a tool of monarchs. No, actually, it was a stumbling block for the monarchs. That's why Henry VIII kicked out the church and established his own church. Upper classes to control the lower classes. Again, not true. The nobles flipped over to Protestantism, and it was the lower class people who were Roman Catholics. Along with capitalism and the state, capitalism didn't exist at this time. This was monarchalism. Capitalism actually began with mercantilism, and it was founded in the United States after the formulation of the Articles of Confederation. Organized religion is most is the most exploitive institution. You really believe people will not revolt? Exploitive, organized religion, the most exploitive institution. You'd have to go in depth on that. What do you mean? Because I want to gather with my family and a few other people in an ancient building and sing hymns that are 2,000 years old and then leave. That's exploitive because there's no homily and there's no preaching. How? You really believe people will not revolt? Revolt against what? Their own culture? I believe people will revolt against Protestantism, but I don't think people will revolt against practicing a form of their own culture, like, standing around the ruins of a ancient church or temple and singing ancient hymns. I mean, they're not being preached to. Do you know what orthodoxy is? Just a question. I'm not trying to challenge you. The monarchs, remember, the monarch of Russia tried to force the Russian people to practice Lutheranism and speak French, and they rebelled. And remember what the people of the Christians of the Middle East said after the Council of Florence, when the Europeans said, "Look, we will reconquer your lands and bring you under Christian rule." They, with one voice, said, "We'd rather have the turban of the Sultan than the mitre of the Pope." And they hanged every single one of their bishops except Mark of Ephesus. But one of the more confusing things is you say that capitalism is freedom. Absolutely not. Capitalism is a consequence of of free speech, of a free society, and a free trade. This, I mean, it's all throughout this book or this manifesto. The socialist and the communist, or the bourgeoisie and the communist. It's all through here. In the sense, the theory of the communist may be summed up in a single sentence: abolition of private property. It's not the means of production. It's private property. Freedom to exploit, that is. Capitalism is literally theft. How do you mean? So if I own a toothbrush, how is that theft? Because we're not speaking of the means of production. If you're not an atheist, how could you agree with communism? Because communism is based on dialectical materialism. I would love to ask you that. I would actually love to speak with you one-on-one. If you don't want to do that, I'd actually love to sit and listen to what you have to say. Because how could you not be an atheist but yet believe in dialectical materialism and communism? All right, peace to you. Thank you for your comment. Hopefully you comment in the future. Take it easy.